Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. Today I am coming to you from my deck here in sunny and probably a little too hot Alabama. It's just a little quieter out here. There's nothing out here but the sound of birds. And man, we get a lot of birds. I love birds. So I hope you're having a good day. Today, we are going to, I'm sorry, I'm slightly distracted by a giant bee over there. We got lots of bees, but we got the good kind of bees, the pollinators. So I am coming to you today. I'm going to give a presentation today on creating a plan to help your autistic child thrive. And so we're going to go over why you're having problems with that, and I'm going to give you a, let's see, 4-step process to handle 3 steps really, and then like the 4th part is a note to handle it more easily. And then I have a little gift for you if you to help you organize things a little easier at the end. So thank you for showing up today, and hi Jill, how are you? So let's start with what's going on. So, you know, like when you have a child on the spectrum, especially a child with profound autism, normally you got a lot of things going on, right? So you've got your regular life going on, but you've also got planning for either IEP meetings or 504 meetings or positive behavioral support meetings. You've got people you have to manage, your educational team, your therapeutic team, your if you have any wraparound services, if you have an advocate. You have a lot of paperwork for anything. If they're an adult, you have the Medicaid, Medicare paperwork. You have funding from the state. You have other, depending on your state, other things that you can apply for. You have to manage their extracurricular activity if you are blessed enough to have a day program, a Miracle League program, a special needs sports program, Special Olympics, all that. And that's on top of if you are doing a specialized protocol or a special diet or both. So it kind of weighs on you. It's a lot of stuff you got to get done. If they're little, you got to plan for their future too. You got to get all that stuff done. So I remember that when my kids were little, I just was astounded by the amount of paperwork. And IEPs, my kids have done IEPs annually. They're like that thick. I had a pile of paper like this big just for one of my daughters. So it's a lot, and it can make you crazy. And it's really difficult, especially if you have a full-time job or you have other kids or you have multiple children with disabilities. It really starts to pile up. So between managing, you need to get all these things done. And a lot of times we're all keyed up. We're really tensed out. We're stressed. And we've got, hi Rosa, hi Kara, and we're overwhelmed. And if we're too overwhelmed, we're going to miss deadlines. I definitely have missed deadlines for things in the state, and then it created more work because then I had to call back the state and go, okay, I'm sorry, I missed the deadline, which they'll give you an extension, but you'll pay for it in phone calls and additional paperwork. So you want to make sure that you've got everything organized, and there's some simple steps you can take. So, you know, if you have a profoundly autistic child, you've normally got more things on your plate than you think you can handle. And so without a clear way to sort through the chaos, you're either going to get things done at the last minute, which is not ideal. It's never ideal to have things done at the last minute because you're more likely to make mistakes and errors, simple mistakes and errors, like you might get the digit wrong when you're really fast going through paperwork on their birth date. And gosh, if you get the birth date wrong on your, I've been there. That's another 6 weeks of agony you have to go through to fix the paperwork, right? So if you have no more, so this is, it's more challenging, right? takes away more time from your great planning of how you are going to help your child thrive with things that are maybe not education or therapy. Just how are you going to help your child thrive on a day-to-day basis with other opportunities like protocols or spell to communicate or something like that if you don't have all this down. So I've got a little plan for you, and this is how I want you to go through the steps of each week. You're going to do this. You're hopefully going to do this. I think this will help you a lot get something done. It's something that I actually adapted from, this is how I approach my business. So yes, I have a business too. So first, you're going to write down every week no more than 5 things to address for your child this week. I would recommend buying a notebook. I have like I said, I have the worksheet planning guide I can send to you at the end. Just printed paper, but you just want a notebook is kind of ideal, or some kind of file. Even if I give you the worksheets, I would recommend putting them in a binder so that you can keep track of everything. So write them down, and ideally 3 to 5 things, no more than that. And you're going to think that's not a lot, but it's really important. It's 3 to 5 things that you don't go beyond that. Address, so assign it. So once you've got like those 3 to 5 things, you know, maybe you have an IEP this week, so you've got to read the IEP that was sent, the draft. Maybe you're starting a new special diet, so you've got to sit down and figure out your grocery list for the special diet. These are just some examples. Maybe you've got to call Medicaid and see if there are any changes that you need to, or you're relocating or something. You need to get your addresses changed for the school and the state funding and all that stuff. You've got to get that together. Maybe your child care provider is quitting, and so you need to find time to find a new child care provider. So whatever are the 3 to 5 most important things to get done this week, write them down. This is going to be your master list that you're going to take care of this week. Assign a number. Once you've got the list, the next step is to prioritize. So usually you might have a deadline on something, right? So you've got an IEP Thursday, so you know you got to read that thick IEP packet that they sent you. You know you got to read that like on Monday or Tuesday the latest. You've also want to kind of prioritize by, if you're dealing with things with the state or federal agencies, you know you need to do those things between 9 and 5 Monday through Friday, barring holidays. So you might want to prioritize that and go like, you know, when they open and at the end of the day, and then they have lunch in the middle of the day, those are kind of times you don't want to be calling. You probably ideally want to be calling at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. So you figure out when you can fit those in your schedule on a day that you know they're open. And then some days are like questionable, like you know they're closed on Memorial Day, but are they open on Columbus Day? Nobody ever really knows. So you just want to prioritize what you need to do by deadline, by availability of who you need to contact, what their working hours are, those kinds of things. You prioritize things in terms of 1, 2, and 3, and what day of the week you can do those things. Okay, and then number 3. You're going to the reason why I want you to max out at 5 is because you're only going to do one thing per day, and you're going to set aside an hour. Now, this particular task might take you 5 minutes, but I think, as we all know, when you're raising a kid on the spectrum, there's lots of interruptions in your day, right? So it might be your kid interrupting you. It might be maybe the teacher will reach out to you with a question about something for tomorrow because perhaps there's a field trip. Maybe an agency will be calling you back. So 1 hour, set aside 1 hour to do these things because you've got to do it, and maybe you're a little lost where to start. You've got to give yourself enough time for things like distraction, procrastination, research, finding a pen. My daughter my daughter likes to use pens, and we go through, there've been periods of time where we have gone through a 10-pack of pens every couple of days. You might need to find a pen. And if you don't have a pen in your house and you can't go out and buy one, you might then need to pull up a Google Doc. So you've got to kind of think about those. I mean, it seems like silly, but these are things I've all run into. I've ran out of paper in my printer, so I have to read the IEP online now, which kind of hurts my eyes, right? So you've got to make an hour gives you enough time for the stuff that you didn't expect to go wrong, the distraction you didn't expect. Like, here's my daughter who just woke up now.
Hi, Mom.
Hi. Say hello.
Hi.
There's a smoothie on the counter for you, okay?
Are we in the counter?
Yep. Okay. So, and then the next thing, just kind of take notes on your progress, right? So, if you've got that list down of the 5 things you're going to do in this week, 5/27, right? The week of 5/27, what are the 5 things you're going to do? You write them down, and then you don't just want to cross them out, because a lot of times you're going to have a thing that it's, okay, so like I've prepped for the IEP. Now the next thing on your list is attending the IEP, and the next thing on the list is going through and making sure that everything in the IEP is correct. When they send you the finalized version, then it's signing it, then it's making sure that all those things are in place, right? So there's usually most things you're going to do for your kid is not a one and done thing. If you're on a special diet, for example, you've got your list of what you're going to feed them this week, you buy it, and then you need to do that kind of every week, right? So, until you're in a habit of a thing, but for most things you're going to need to do them every week. Or you periodically follow up on it. If you're, for example, putting your child in a new program, whether it be a volunteer type program like Miracle League that we had in Pennsylvania, Exceptional Foundation that we have here, you're going to need to remember to put them in. What are the fees? Did I pay the fees? What are the activities going on this week? Schedule the time for the different activities. Are there special activities that I need to pay for in advance? All those kinds of things will be on your list. And that's why you need to make notes of things and take a time to make sure that you've gotten to the next step and the next step. Sometimes things will complete, right? Your child will have a final IEP one of these days, and then that's completed. But you'll then need to go on to the next thing of, okay, now that they're an adult and out of the school system, how do I get them a job, right? So you just need to make sure that you're keeping track of where you are with all these things. Now, where will you get stuck? Because a lot of times you'll be going through this thing and you will get stuck. So that's why also too it's important to to make notes, so that you make notes that you got stuck. And you might need to reschedule things, right? Maybe the phone is broken today, or there was a water main break, and so the office is closed, the Medicaid office is closed today, call back tomorrow, right? So those kinds of things, you need to be flexible and be able to change your schedule in case of disasters that happen like that. So what can you come into? Your list is too overwhelming. Is a normal problem. I'm in a great autism group, and one time one of the parents listed all the things she did for her kid, and the list had like 25 items on it, and I went, oh, that's awesome. I'll print this list and do these things for Zoe. And I got to about item number 2, and I was so overwhelmed that I wanted to cry. So that's why you need to if your list of 5 is too overwhelming, drop it down to 3 to 4. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. That's why you need to give yourself a whole hour, right? You don't want to overwhelm yourself. There's enough overwhelming things in our lives. So just bring it down to a few items. Maybe you're nervous about starting. I was nervous about when we came down here, transitioning my kids. So I got Zoe in school. I got her transition. She went to school more times this month of May than she went to in the last year of school, even though school is over now. So I feel like, yay, we were successful. We had to drag her sometimes. She didn't want to go, but she went and she actually enjoyed it. And then after school was done, asked for more school, but she'll be back in August. My other daughter, we actually got her in the Exceptional Foundation program that starts next week. There's a lot of things I still have to do for that, but it's all on deck. It's all scheduled, and I'm going to be taking care of that stuff tomorrow, unless I can get it in today. So you can also rearrange your schedule like that. You can move things up if you find yourself with unexpected free time. You can move your thing that you plan for Thursday, move it up to Wednesday because you have more free time in your schedule. Go ahead and do that. And so if you're nervous about starting a thing, you've never done it before, just take a deep breath and dive in, do the research. Thank God we have the internet now, so there's almost nothing you can't find information for, even federal agencies. Even federal agencies have all their stuff online, so there's nothing you can't find the answer for. So don't be nervous about starting. Just pull up a website and get the information you need. And now you might be also thinking, an hour? I don't have an hour. Well, you probably do. You just need to expect that in that hour, you might only have 5 minutes of things that you need to actually do. It's more like you've set aside tomorrow between 10 and 11 a.m. is when I'm going to call the agency and get this started. And if 40 minutes worth of other stuff happens, you can still make that phone call, right? If that phone call takes 5 minutes, sometimes you'll get lucky and they'll go, our line is too busy. Do you want us to call back? Give us a callback number. And then you can get the callback number and then you reschedule the time because they'll normally say we're going to call you back in 45 minutes or something. So you can reschedule your time. So you don't need to get stuck. You just need to make sure that you have that window frame of an hour somewhere in your day to do these things on this one task so you don't get overwhelmed. And that gives you, that also, if you schedule a whole hour, it gives you a lot of time to breathe. Like, if you're nervous, you can take 5 minutes to get, nervous. I mean, I'm sometimes nervous calling federal agencies, right? Because you're worried there's going to be an argument. And there may be, hopefully there won't be. But you need time to breathe, to sit there, to make sure you're getting it done, getting it started, and going until you've achieved your one goal for the day. Okay. And again, an hour gives you enough time to make sure the distractions and the obstacles and all those things are out of the way before you get this one thing done. And what's going to happen is, hi Fox, you're going to feel good about yourself that you got this thing done because you set aside the hour. And again, if it's only something that's going to take you 5 or 10 minutes, doesn't matter. You got that whole hour in which to accomplish it, despite distractions and problems and issues. So you're going to feel good about yourself. And I don't know about you, but when I have a list and I can cross something out, I feel really good. So if you keep your list short, 3 to 5 things that you have to accomplish for your kid this week, you can get through those 3 to 5 things. Like I said, when I was in that group and I had that list of 25 things I could help my kid with, I got 2 items crossed off and I started hyperventilating. I was like, how am I going to do all this stuff? If I had taken that list of 25 items, put it aside, and brought on 3 items on that list I'm going to take care of this week. Maybe one was in fact, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll go back to that list and schedule 3 of those things per week. Or 1 or 2 in your list of your other duties. Just put 1 or 2 items per the list, and that way you'll know some of those things cost money. You don't want to spend all the money all at once, right? Some of those things you have to fit in your budget. So make sure that you're only doing 3 main things for your child, 3 to 5 main things for your child per week. And so that is how you can get organized, feel calm and feel good and feel like you are accomplishing goals and you are moving forward and you are taking care of your God-given duty to help your child thrive despite their difficulties. Just 3 to 5 main things per week. Write them down. Give yourself an hour. Do only one per day. Check them off when you've got them done so that you get that dopamine hit from completing your task list. And then at the end of the week, you can really feel like a great parent because you got done what you needed to get done this week. And you can just give yourself a little pat on the back that you did a great job. If you want help with this, I have an autism workbook guide. And if you want that guide, it's a little guide I made up. It's PDF that you can print out, and you can keep track of things like different activities, different protocols, different therapies, who are the people on your teaching staff and other staff, so that you have their name and numbers down. If you're new, if the child is new in school, you have a whole new crop of names to get used to, and even a little area for your own gratitude. So if you would like a copy of my workbook, please type #help in the comments, and I will get that right out to you. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, sorry, I totally forgot. I got a comment yesterday. Margaret asked for help on what to do with her adult son when he graduates. So this is for everybody. If you have an autistic child who is coming out of the school system, so my first recommendation, if they're in the school system and been in the school system, keep them in the school system as long as possible. Both here and in PA, they can stay until 22. So at this point in time, for PA, that's a COVID thing. For Alabama, it's when they turn 22 in the school year. They don't yank them out mid-year. In Pennsylvania, it's until the day they turn 22, and that's a COVID tack-on year thing. So what I'm going to say to Margaret is, between now and then, start doing the research. What is in your area? If you have wraparound services, that wraparound person can give you information. I got our wraparound person in Pennsylvania. We kept going through these people, and she had a supervisor, and at one point we didn't have anybody but the supervisor, and the supervisor knows more than any of the caseworkers. And she came in and gave me all this information that there was a wealth of funding for Amelia. I had no idea. There is funding for adults in Pennsylvania. I don't know about any other state. I got to do my due diligence here. But there is funding for adults with different disabilities, and there's separate funding for adults with autism in Pennsylvania. So really go look at those programs, look online. It's really good to have someone, if you can find a wraparound person who can help you and get all that information to you. And then, again, take it step by step. What do I want for my child when he or she is out of school? And then list kinds of programs. There's vocational, every state has vocational programs where they can help your, I'm assuming every state, not every state. I know they have one here, I know they have it in PA, where your child can work, and be vigilant when you're out there. So the other day we went to Sam's Club, and the checker, the guy who scans the cards when you walk in the door, was disabled. So I was like, okay, mental note, I know that Sam's Club will hire disabled people. I know in Pennsylvania, at least, Walmart does. Is it Chick-fil-A? I think Applebee's. So there's definitely companies that you walk in there and you can see people with disabilities. So you know that they do hire them. You have to, and likely if they've hired them, there's a program that they've gone through. So you can look for these programs. The other thing you want to look for, Margaret, is maybe a day center. That's where we're sending Amelia, where you pay out of pocket sometimes. Sometimes you'll have state funding. It all depends. The other thing we did for Amelia in Pennsylvania was we had a person come into our house because we she was still in school, so we didn't need anybody during the day hours, but because she was over 21, she qualified. So you can have someone come into your house, and they befriend them, and they take them out on activities. So again, Pennsylvania activities, you have to look per your state and do the research in your state of what sort of programs there are for disabled adults. So I hope that helps, Margaret. And again, if you want my autism worksheets to help you plan, they are meant for school-age kids. So if you've got school-age kids, I will try to make one for adults too. So hashtag help in the comments, so let me know. And if you have any questions, please put them in the group. I am shooting to do these videos every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Every week will be a different topic. So please let me know what topics you would like me to cover, what questions you have, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching. Take care.